Because Los Angeles is the second largest radio market in the United States, with over 80 established FMs, the chances of a new station making it borders on the impossible. However, odds are meant to be challenged, and LA's most recent challenger has shot to the top during its 9-month initiation. The station, Hit Radio 93 KKHR.
Hit Radio 90 KKHR, Los Angeles.
KKHR's success is no accident. From the men up front, the jocks, to the backbone of the station, the program director and music director. Each person was chosen for their uniqueness, freshness, experience, and above all, the ability to work and have fun at the same time. We speak first with Ed Scarborough, program director for KKHR. What does your job as programming director entail?
Obviously, number one is the sound of this radio station. I'm responsible for everything you hear on this radio. Frequency, from the music and the rotations that you hear on the music, to the disc jockeys, to what they say, to how they execute their show, to the contests, to the news broadcasts, to the public service. That's all my domain. I work very closely, of course, with our music director, Dave Hall, who makes me aware of the music that's out there, who will, on a Tuesday afternoon, come in here and just force me to listen to all these records, of which we'll select 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on our needs for that given week, to add to our playlist. And then Dave goes and records them on a cartridge and so on and so forth. But I meet with Dave on a regular basis. I meet with Annette Ellis, who is our promotions director, and act as a liaison in sales, when a salesman will come along and say, "Hey, Ed, I got a great deal. We want to give away 1,000 frozen pizzas." You know, thanks a lot. Can you get me something our audience wants?
Ed, what is your aim and goal here at KKHR?
Well, our goal, of course, is to make Hit Radio a solid, successful radio station in Los Angeles. How we define successful can be interpreted in any one of a number of different ways. The most obvious way is the station makes money. That can happen through great ratings, or it can happen through a very aggressive sales staff, or a combination of the two, and that's ultimately what we hope for. We don't have to be number one in Los Angeles to make a lot of money. We simply have to be very competitive within our format and the right demographics, and that's what we're shooting for.
Ed, what kind of audience is KKHR aimed at?
We're looking for people who are alive, who are fun and enjoy music and good times. Don't listen to KKHR when you're not in a good mood, unless you use us to get you into a good mood. We're a party station. We're a station that's designed for people who want to have some fun. I'm a kid. I mean, this is, the music we're playing now is what I grew up with. I mean, not the same songs, artists, but the same kind of fun beat and energy to the music. It's exciting again. And we want kids, we want, teenagers, high school students are incredibly important to us. If we don't have, teenagers, 12 to 19, we're not going to be a successful radio station. You are our bread and butter. The response has been phenomenal. I mean, already in our 8-month history, we're number 2 in the market in teens, right behind KISS, and hopefully just slowly but surely nipping away. KISS has had a heck of a head start on us, and it's kind of like a David and Goliath situation. But primarily our target is 12 to 24-year-olds. I mean, yes, we would like to get people older than 24 to listen to this radio station, and in fact, we head right on up to 35. But primarily, we can't succeed unless we get people like yourself, because if we get you, chances are we can get your brother or sister, chances are we can get your mom, and eventually we'll get your dad.
Rockin' Southern California Radio, KKHR.
We next spoke to the guy who is generally responsible for the music played on KKHR, music director David Hall. What does a music director do?
Different things. We became KKHR in August of '83. So for this station, I listen to every piece of music that comes through the door. With Ed Scarborough, our program director, I help select, and I look for the hits. I'm looking for records that are going to be big hits. We have a real tight playlist, 30 songs. We have a list of 1 to 30, and then we have about 10 or 12 extras. And we're looking for records from all types, new wave music, rock and roll, soul, you name it. If it sounds like it's going to be a hit, and if it sounds like a good, fun piece of music with some energy to it, generally, we're always looking for high-energy hit music. And my whole life is music, and that's what I'm here to do, is to help Ed find the right music for this station and to pump it out on the airwaves.
What are your expectations for this station?
Well, some of my expectations have been realized, but I like to win. Everybody here likes to win. You got to remember, New York, LA, Chicago, the 3 biggest markets in the country, real competitive. And when you win in LA, you can make a lot of money for the company you're working for, hopefully for yourself too. But I expect this station already it's well known, and we're going to be head to head with KISS before too long. You know, that's who our biggest competitor is right now. We've risen from nothing last August up to a point right now where we're already inching ahead of KAQQ and pushing up onto K-Rock, and even though they're different formats, we're going to be right up there. It's a dog-eat-dog market, and a real competitive, fiercely competitive place. But we're doing pretty well, real well.
Radio, KKHR.
DJ selection falls in the hands of the program director, and Ed Scarborough's final decisions weren't made easily. Ed, how did you get your final audition cut for your jocks here at KKHR?
We listened to about 800 or 900 tapes, some of them only for a matter of seconds, and some we listened to several times. And we got probably about 15 tapes out of that whole bunch that sounded pretty good. And at that point we started pulling people in and talking to them. And we were very conscious of whether or not these were good people, whether they were happy with their life, whether they were stable with their goals and attitudes. We didn't want a guy coming here for a cup of coffee.
I noticed that the staff here at KKHR get along real well. Can you elaborate on what kind of relationship you all have together?
I don't know how these atmospheres get created. Obviously, you know, part of it has to do with something that I do, and I wish I could spell it out in a formula. I'm very honest with my guys. I'm very open. If a guy has done something wrong and it has ticked me off, I tell him, and I tell him in no uncertain terms. When a guy does something good, I tell him as well. I'm very fortunate in that I can walk a very fine line with these guys, where one minute I'm their best friend swapping stories and dirty jokes and telling them about my daughter who messed up a diaper or one thing or another, and the next minute I'm chewing them out for them screwing something up. But I'm very fortunate that I can get away with it. The net result is, as I said earlier, we hired a bunch of good people who are professionals, who are confident with their role in life, not insecure and wondering when they're going to get fired. And the net result is it's an up radio station. What you hear on the air is what you hear behind the scenes. It's the only way we're going to win. If we had backstabbing behind the scenes, we'd have trouble on the air.
Lou Simon on KKHR.
Let's take a look at KKHR's 5 daytime jocks. First, your 5 to 9 morning man, Lou Simon.
It's a minute past 8 o'clock with your walking, talking, wake-up call. Lou Simon on the flame-throwing FM.
Radio, KKHR, Los Angeles.
I used to hang around a radio station when I was in high school, alphabetizing the records for them on weekends. I still do that at KKHR.
Who does all this stuff still?
I used to go out for hot dogs, you know, for the disc jockey and cigarettes, whatever, if he'd let me watch them.
That's great.
And it was a daytime radio station, which meant they signed off the air when the sun went down. And they used to let me, 4:30, 5, 6 o'clock, whatever, go into their little control room and play radio and put a tape on and then go home and listen to the tape and critique myself. I didn't know if what I was doing was right or wrong.
Now, you doing morning drive, you have to attract everybody, basically, right?
Right.
You have to attract the entire audience.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I'm there for everybody.
Do you consider yourself having an on-the-air trademark or something that you do?
No.
You don't?
No, I have habits, things that I need to
Let's
break.
talk
But
about your habits.
But they're not. No, but it's not like like an on-air trademark. I know what you mean. There are disc jockeys who have a certain niche or a certain sound or certain thing they do, and I really don't.
That's 1-800-BE-SOBER. It'll connect you with people who are waiting to help. In touch with Southern California, we're Hit Radio 93, KKHR.
Well, sometimes I make a blatant error. Like the other day, for the first half hour of my show, from 5 to 5:30, I was saying it was Thursday, and it was Wednesday.
At 8:21 with Lou Simon. People know, you know, if you listen to me every day, you know sometimes I have trouble figuring out what day of the week it is because, I mean, it's early and I just can't deal with it. It takes up too much brain space. I know one thing. I always know when it's Friday. It is Friday, 18th of May. Celebrate a weekend because it's just hours away with KKHR.
Dave Donovan on KKHR.
From 9 to noon, master of the audio mix, Dave Donovan takes over the control.
Hey, hi.
It's 10:02. This is Dave Donovan working a 30-minute free ride on the Flamethrower.
I was in high school and called a disc jockey, my favorite disc jockey on this radio station in Connecticut, which is a very small radio station, a little 1,000-watt AM radio station, and told him I was interested in radio, and he let me come down and visit. And then eventually, he was the music director of the station, and he would let me come down on the weekends, on Saturdays, and help him file records and things like that. And then while he was on the air Saturday, he would let me go in the production room and do a make-believe radio show.
For some reason, it seems to me you have this kind of appeal to women.
I think that the reason for that is middays traditionally has a higher listenership of women, just because, I mean, well, the old ideal was that women were home working, they were housewives. Well, now that's not true anymore. They work themselves, and we have a lot of people who listen to us at work. And I guess it just so happens that middays, for some reason, has always been very high listenership with women.
Yeah, LA's Hit Radio 93, KKHR.
Hi, Dave.
Hi. 9:05, Dave Donovan with a 30-minute free ride. And your chance to win a free ride is coming up very soon. Stay with me. Huey Lewis, KKHR.
I like to do a lot of stuff with telephone bits, and people are funny. I mean, they do some great stuff. You can just play along with them. It's kind of like just doing comedy improv.
KKHR.
Hello? Come on, don't be afraid to speak up. You're stupid and I hate you. Is that what you said to me?
No, okay, all right, thank you.
Christopher Lance on KKHR.
Everybody loves KKHR's noon to 3 DJ, Christopher Lance, where he brings us Lunch LA.
All right, let's gobble up that Lunch LA. From the station at Free Ride, Southern California, this is Christopher Lance, 12 noon. I was in English class in college, and my English professor used to say, you ever thought about radio? Why he said that, brought that up, I don't know, but I transferred to another college in San Diego where I grew up, and I started taking the radio classes. They were easy, I got good grades, and I said, I think this is for me. Hit Radio 93, in touch with West LA at 520 KKHR. Chris Lance, how you doing? 6 before 3 o'clock. Listen, how about a handkerchief for the Doves? This has got to be one of the biggest request songs this week from Prince, happening on Hit Radio. You want to turn it up. KKHR. We're personalities in a way, but really the station is number one, the music is number one. And you've got to find the right type of disc jockey who's going to fit into that.
Right.
It's so tough. It's hard to find guys who can entertain in a short amount of time and still sound like a music station, as opposed to, the Dave Donovan show or the Lou Simon show, you know. I think that's our secret. KKHR, and as far as the hotel accommodations being up to par, that's kind of up to you. Stay the night with Chris Lance at 5 before 3 o'clock. Now, don't forget, tonight, Mark Hansen kicks off that Hit Radio Free Music Weekend. We're talking about the Thomas Dolby concert kits, the Flat Earth, and tickets to his May 17th concert at the Greek Theater. More details coming up. Get yourself ready to win in the meantime with Hit Radio, KKHR.
A lot of adjectives.
Let's talk about when you leave and Jack comes on.
We're pretty comfortable with each other, so we can just about say anything we want to each other. Jack is kind of a wired-up guy. Let's go! I'm ready. The guy you talk so fast, his lips are just a blur. He was here just a second ago. Where'd he go?
I'm right here. Actually, I hurt myself yesterday. I was talking and I leaned out the window. My lips almost beat me to death on the freeway. Hey, I heard from your mother. You know, she says, don't give me any more of those Mother's Day cards addressed to occupants. So I want you to put her name down.
It's a promise. I just want to say we're going to do it again tomorrow morning for Brunch LA at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is Chris. Hit Radio, KKHR. A great night.
Jack Armstrong on KKHR.
Jackson Armstrong is certainly a nice guy, but watch out for the animal in him between 3 and 7.
Hey, Jack, your mother just called. She said she didn't have a son.
Wait a minute. Disowned Chris Lance. It's 3 o'clock. I'm Jackson Armstrong.
I'm ready for you, Gorilla.
On Southern California's Hit Music Authority. I got into it, in answer to your question, because I was looking for hometown show business. Something where I could be noticed without being noticed. That's what radio's great for. And that's why most of us are terribly ugly.
I think it's worth writing down. It's at Radio 93 KKHR. I'm Jackson. I'm the main gorilla. We're dancing in the sheets here.
It looked like work of Apache.
Wrecked bed. Go on.
Peace!
Wait a minute. Do what feels good. That's what we're going to do for the next 4 hours here at Hit Radio 93 KKHR.
Here, they've allowed me to do what I do. And they, instead of saying, don't do that, they say, do it. And if we don't like it, we'll talk about it. I say, fine. So I do it. And then they say, oh, we like that. And I say, that's great. Because most radio stations now have a very strict format. They have a very strict presentation. The guys are not allowed to be characters on purpose, because they don't want to pay them any money.
Free ride. KKHR.
See, there are 86 radio stations in Los Angeles, and 40 of them play rock and roll music. And the chances of standing out among those 86 radio stations are next to none, especially after KISS has had such a tremendous success in the last year and a half. They've soaked up all the numbers. KIQQ is not doing well. K-Hits is not doing well. You can go right on down the line and look at all the other FMs and they're having problems. So they said, you'll never be able to cut into them. And we would not be able to cut into them if we went at them the way they are. But we're taking a different tact, and that's working.
Recycle and win cash. That could come in handy. Concert tickets, maybe even. How about a Michael Jackson satin tour jacket? That could be hazardous to your health. That was in the news today. Jeez, a guy who's imitating Michael Jackson was mugged, and they took his jacket. I'm not making that up. But you can win these things. If you'd like them, just get your friends and your family to start collecting aluminum cans for the LA Unified School District Can Drive that's going on now through the 14th. The more you collect, the better your chances to win. For more information on the Pepsi-Cola Recycling Challenge, check your school bulletin board. In touch with Southern California, we're Hit Radio 93. You spell that KKHR.
I won't let you down. Don't let me down.
All right.
We'll get you tomorrow 3 to 7.
So long, sucker.
It's KKHR.
Mark and Son on KKHR.
Mark's co-workers call him their resident rocker. And from 7 to midnight, KKHR parties Southern California.
It's 8 o'clock with Mark Hansen on Southern California's Bitchin' FM. You know, I was like cutting lawns, the basic usual stuff, babysitting, you know, whatever I could do for a couple bucks. And I'm driving down the road and I'm playing with the radio, and this guy's having a good time smoking on the radio, and I'm thinking, hey, that sounds great. So I check it out. The guy actually gets paid for it. He gets concert tickets. He gets the women. He gets everything. So I said, hey, that's for me. And I threw the lawnmower away, and I've been jocking ever since. Radio 93 KKHR. It'll be partly cloudy tonight. Look for low down at 62. Tomorrow is sunshine. High is 76. Wow. 76 in Hollywood. KKHR.
The station is so hot. I mean, it's full of fun. Everybody here has a good time, and all the jocks, we really get along. We have parties like, you know, if you could read this, there's a party going on. Hit nights, we're doing these all the time, having a great time, and, you know, it's nice and loud. And we have a great time. I love this place. And it's LA.
You know, the drugs you took yesterday could still be affecting you today. So get help. Call Narcan on there at 733-2200. In touch with Southern California, we're Hit Radio 93, KKHR.
Okay, now like the night guy, which is what I am, not the all-night guy, but the night guy. And you figure at night, what are people doing at night? They're partying, they're having a good time. And I can remember, just about a year ago when I was in high school, that, you know, at nighttime is when you listen to radio. It's when you get into it, you got the car and you're cranking it. So I'm looking for the party people, the people that are fun.
Hey, it's going to be partly cloudy tonight. Look for low of 62. A little cooler tomorrow. Look for high of 76. Clouds in the morning, burning off in the afternoon. You know, 74 now in Hollywood. And your Hit Radio.
You got to like the other guys. Otherwise, the station will sound really disjointed. It's like, you know, da-da-da. But if everybody likes each other, we have a good time, and the whole station flows, and we're all alike. We all have fun, and we're all a little weird. We've all been dropped on our heads several times, and so, hey, we get along, and you got to. The spirit's there, and you can hear it, I think, on the radio. There's other stations in town. I'm sure you've heard a few, and that's what I think about it. But this station just...
There's a party going on with Southern California's hottest hit music on 93 FM, KKHR.
Hit Radio!
Charged with only the hottest hits, powered by only the hottest artists. Connect with LA's Hit Music Authority, 93 FM, KKHR.
Hit Radio!
Driven by the hottest names in hit music. Power up Hit Radio 93.
KKHR!